out at the beginning.
All right, let's get a roll call.
Hey guys, I have like some kind of feedback loop. I'm getting at least double audio, so I'm not sure how I can possibly follow along here. But you can go ahead if you want. Okay.
According to the meeting roster, Bill is joined twice.
Yeah, I'm wondering. Thank you, Amelia. Guys, I'm just going to shut down. Guys, I'm just going to shut. Sorry about.
Bill, hold on. You got rid of the extra one. Yeah, you had it open twice.
Okay, good. I don't know how that happened, but thank you. Okay, are we ready? Are we ready to go? We have a form, right?
Yeah. Is everybody ready?
Okay, so I'll read the COVID disclaimer here, please.
Yeah, go ahead.
Give me 1 second. Sorry, got to reorganize here. Okay, so this is the we're about to start the Mendon Conservation Commission meeting for July 23rd, 2020. I believe members on the line are, if you could confirm, please, we have Chairman Tinio, Peter Coffin, Carl Hummel, and Emilio Perez. Is that correct? Anyone else?
Correct.
Carl Hummel.
Are there any guests on the line?
Yes.
Oh, hi,
Fred
Fred.
Lapham.
Okay.
How you doing, Bill?
Great, great. Okay, here we go. Here's the blurb. So this open meeting is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, due to the COVID emergency. We've been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement for open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible location. All members of the public body are allowed to encourage to participate remotely. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will feature public comment as directed by the chair. We're convening by telephone and online as posted on the town's website, identifying how the public may join. All supporting materials for the meeting have been provided to members and are available on the town's website. Ground rules, the chair or I will introduce each speaker. Remember to mute your phone or computer if you're not speaking. Remember to speak clearly in a way that generates accurate minutes. Every vote will be taken by roll call. I think that's sufficient. So, Mr. Chairman, it's now whatever time I cannot see. 7:16. If you'd like to open the meeting, please.
All right.
Oh, and by the way, our first public hearing, the applicant has already requested at 7:15. The applicant's already requested it be continued. So if we open that hearing, we can continue it to a later meeting in August.
Okay. So let's open the meeting at, I got 7:13 on my computer.
Okay.
What is this 13 Bellingham Street here now?
Okay. You mean 13 Blackstone Street?
I mean Blackstone, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So that is a.
Is that greener home that they're doing over there?
So that's a septic repair that we approved the order of conditions, and they actually had, after we voted it in a long time ago, we finally got the signatures, got the forms out to them. they've already done the work and they're coming right back at us with their certificate of compliance and the as-built or request for a certificate of compliance.
Yes,
And they filed the
I was by the house the other day. And I just couldn't remember what the street address was.
Yeah.
That place is all done.
Okay.
I mean, as long as everyone's there, somebody want to make a motion here to get that straightened out for them?
I move we accept the request and we issue a certificate for 13 Blackstone.
There a second?
Emilio Perez will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
If I could just, but I'll probably agree with it, but I'm just not sure grass has grown there because there's a little bit, it's right on the street and then there's a wetland nearby. So I haven't looked closely at it. I'm sure it's not going to be a big issue, but let's vote to let it out. And if there's an issue with erosion, we can come back and ask them, or if I think the grass will probably take.
Yeah, it looks pretty good over there, Pete, but take a ride by when you got a minute.
Yep.
Everything's grown pretty well.
Is there going to be a hardship if we delay for 2 or 4 weeks?
Nope.
Are they're not trying to sell it or anything? Okay.
Well, it
then
is
we-
for
They are
sale,
trying to
but I
sell
don't
it.
know if it's sold or not. But I mean,
Go ahead and issue it. I don't think it's, they'll be good to us, I like to think.
Okay, so moved and seconded.
all in favor?
Aye.
Everybody voted.
Aye.
Okay, I heard all 4 members aye. Okay.
Thank you. So 7:15. Bill, you ready?
Yeah. So this is the one where Bob Poxon was trying to
Yeah.
get his applicants to comment on his revisions, and they still haven't given him an approval. So he's asking for
Okay,
it to
so
continue.
let's, somebody gonna make a motion to continue to the next posted meeting?
Carl Hummel moves.
Okay.
Is there a second?
Peter Coffin seconds.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right.
Okay. Now we got some time before our 7:30. So if you want to run down
Yeah.
any discussion items.
Okay, discuss potential maintenance of Misco Hill Pond water body adjacent to the Misco Hill School. Peter, you want to go, Carl, you want to step in?
Yes, I'm sharing on the screen the body of water in question. I am a part owner of this pond, so when we come to any decisions about making spending decisions, I would step down and recuse myself from that. There has been some anonymous complaints over the past month about the water level and the construction work that's being done on the lake. I have reached out to Solitude Lake Management and also the company in Upton that does water management for estimates about coming out and doing a survey and checking for invasive species, whether the beavers are being too destructive, any other recommendations they might have as to water quality. Solitude is looking for $750 for a site visit, and the other one is saying they'll do it for free because they're relatively local. The reason why the Conservation Commission would be getting involved in this is, as you can see on the site plan, the top northwestern third of the lake is part of the Misco Hill School property, and also we're interested in working with the middle school teachers on working on a plan there. I'm at lot 15. I'm this middle section, and I spoke this afternoon with the 2 neighbors at 11 and 7, and they are perfectly okay with having a site visit. And in fact, the person at 7, Joe, said he would be perfectly okay with letting them borrow his canoe if they didn't have one of their own. Damon will be reaching out to Kevin Meehan, who now owns 134. The Oliver plan shows that there's wetlands here, but it is not swampy or anything at the moment. But we would want to check in with Kevin because he may have interest in if he wants to use the lake for recreational purposes. Maybe he wants a path down to the beach. Maybe he wants to get a dock there for himself. So my plan would be, if the Conservation Commission is okay with it, getting the free evaluation and then coming back to the committee and to the other 3 abutters and talking with them as well. The final person who might be interested in the report is the owner of the parcel up where the lake outflows, 158 north, which I believe are the I'm blanking on his name. I'll come back to it.
John Gannett.
The Gannets, right? And they might be interested because any work that is done on the lake would impact the creek and then the outflow to the second lake that is down below them. So I would be working with Bill and coming up with an official Conservation Commission letter that would go to all of the interested parties, and then host an evaluation meeting, say whether people want to have, if there's an invasive species, if we're going to do any mechanical yanking out the way it does in the pond, or if there's water treatment. One of the concerns that the person at the Upton Company talked to is the football field is right here. There may be fertilizer and other runoffs coming from that would lead to water quality issues. So they are sensitive to those concerns. They're also interested. They sent a letter to the Conservation Commission earlier this week, water and wetland, and I'm quite sure they'd be interested in working with me and the committee on this particular plan so that they can be considered for any future work on Lake Nipmuc and any of the other lakes that the Conservation Commission is responsible for in town. So what I would ask for is, after a discussion, a motion to authorize Bill and I to move forward and engage in a free survey and then talk with them and with Solitude about whether we do water quality testing. Any questions, Damon, Emilio, Peter?
I think that sounds great. I'm very, that would be, to get some free advice, I think is huge.
Free is good, yes.
Yeah, you know,
and the other thing is then I can go back to Solitude and say, I already had this other company come out. Do you want to lower your price from 750 to something more reasonable? And see whether they're interested in engaging with us on this.
right.
Competition is a good thing. Carl, great job pulling it together. I'll make a motion to pursue steps towards a management plan for the pond in question.
Okay, I'll second that.
All right, can you second that, Carl, or you're?
I'm only going to recuse myself when it's when there's money involved.
Okay. I don't know if that's a. Okay, all right, well, we'll go with that. Is there
Would you like me to second it?
Okay, I'll stay out of it then.
Let me have somebody else just to keep it all on the. I mean,
Okay.
You do own property on it. That's probably the best.
Yeah.
So Emilio is second.
Emilio Perez will second. Aye.
Everybody else is okay with that?
Aye.
All right, so
Got it.
7:23. Still got a little more time here. Let me see what we got next.
I'll give you one quick one while you're looking. Can we just get an okay for Grandview Entertainment license routing slip?
Yeah, I have no issues there as far as anything going on with that.
Okay,
Everybody else okay with that?
Which agenda item is that?
it's not. It just came in. The routing slip just came across
Okay.
I have no problem with it. It looks like they're asking for permission for a big tent, and I would think they would need outdoor space. So, with
Yeah,
COVID-19 for sure.
yes. Okay, great.
Yeah, no objections.
So, yeah, sign that bill and you can get it off to them.
Okay.
So update on Solitude. Update on Solitude Lake Management's testing and treatment of Lake Nipmuc in June.
So, yeah, I think I can't remember where we left this, but I think everybody knows now. They came in, they did do the copper sulfate treatment for the algae and some of the more routine treatment that they've done. And they're going to come back and after they've done some lab tests and see if the algae springs back or whether this was effective enough for a while.
Okay, I've been on the lake quite a bit the last couple of weeks, and it has seemed to help tremendously.
Oh, good.
Everybody that lives on the lake has agreed, and you can actually see some of the stuff that was growing rapidly in the spring is already dying off. So it's I think we're in good shape on that end of it.
Okay. Thank you.
But yeah, obviously we'd like to hear from Solitude on what their expertise about it. Next is what we got.
Beaver Dams at 35 Vincent. Item
Yeah,
8.
that's just an official step for the commission to ratify the emergency certification form that we issued for breaching that's already happened. That's just a vote, please.
Yeah, I mean, somebody want to make a motion?
Where was the dam? On Springbrook?
So move 35 Vincent Road, or
Yeah, this is like highway department work for culverts.
Yeah, we're just giving them we're just
Right.
updating the emergency order, correct, Bill?
Yeah, this is just before it's filed with DEP. It needs to be ratified by the commission.
Do you want to make a motion for that?
Peter moved to ratify the certification.
Is there a second?
Emilio will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great. All right, thank you.
Okay.
Next steps for Lake Nipmuc water
Yeah.
quality efforts, Bill?
That's just an ongoing, leaving it on the agenda. At some point, if we could, actually, this new company might be able to give us a little help there too.
Well,
You
we
know,
just
get
heard
the
that
Board of Health on. Go ahead, Carl.
we just heard the copper sulfate treatments were having a positive effect on the look of the lake. Is there a water quality problem?
Well, we still don't know why there's a spike in E. coli at certain test locations, like right near the beach, not in front of the beach, and right near the yacht club, but not everywhere else.
Has that been happening this year?
I don't
Or
know
was that
because
just last year?
I don't know because I haven't heard of any testing.
I do believe that Susan Thomas has done some testing for the Nipmuc Association, and it's coming back to me. I think you're right. One event, it was higher in a place that she wasn't assuming it. So there's been some, but again, that is a non-certified lab, and so the Board of Health will not entertain that information. I think it's useful information as a screening, but then maybe the Board of Health only tests at the beach. So maybe if there's an issue, someone's got to pay for a certified lab to do the testing just anywhere else other than the beach. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the Board of Health ran some several locations, but I can't remember exactly where they do it. But it's not just in front of the beach.
No, they do some over in the cove, like where the outlet, they check, like by Nipmuc Marine, they check the outlet flow there that comes out of the catch basins on 16. And they have done some down in the other cove past Alicante in the past. but the water level on the lake is high as of right now, even though, we're in somewhat of a drought situation. It seems that the water level is holding pretty well, whether it's beaver dams on the outlet, I'm not sure, but I mean, at this point, the beaver dams could be helping the lake rather than hurting it right now.
Right.
All right, we got 7:30 here. We want to move to our first hearing.
Okay.
So we got we can open the public hearing to consider notice of intent for 12 Locust Hill Drive, DEP number not yet assigned. Fred, is that your?
Right. So, yeah, Fred is
Yeah.
here to present that one. And if we finish up tonight, Fred, we'll just have to wait for the file number and then go. But anyway, go ahead. I think the floor is yours.
Okay.
You need your plans?
Pardon me?
You got a plan for this, Fred?
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be accessible to you, Bill, right?
Yeah. Either Carl or I will. Here, Carl's on it, I think.
It's also on the PDF that was sent out on the email.
That's correct.
The notice of
That's
intent.
that's what I'm opening up.
Yep. Thank you, Carl.
Okay. Sheet 1 of that plan is where will be the most helpful. Sheet 1 shows the entire lot. This is a new construction request that we're making. It's a lot that has a lot going on. It's wrapped with drainage facilities for the subdivision. And we have here about a third of the lot. Going back about a third from Locust Hill Drive is where this notice of intent would apply. The rest is under a separate notice, separate order of conditions for the infrastructure for Misco Springs development.
That's one to Carl.
So we have about a third of the lot here that is, it's a hillside lot. What you're looking at is Locust Hill Drive is elevated quite a bit above the wetland that goes through the middle of the lot. And prior to that wetland, we have all this, we have water quality swales, a sediment forebay, and the detention basin that serves most of this section of the development. So the work area is, you can see it's like a horseshoe shape where the house is located, the driveway, the septic, the well, and everything else is pretty much soft grading except for a boulder retaining wall right behind the house. We have about 110 feet or so of retaining wall that will allow this house to have a modest backyard. It's about 50 feet from the house to that wall. So there's two lines of defense here for the wetlands. One is the infrastructure that is in place. That would be the water quality swales outside of this activity that we're getting permitted tonight. So those swales and detention basins, they are constructed and they are operating. On the uphill side of that infrastructure, we're going to wrap this building site with erosion controls in the form of the straw wattles and siltation fence. And the permanent erosion control certainly would be the boulder retaining wall behind the house. Everything else is soft grading and would be handled by vegetative cover. This is fully compliant with Title V. I do not have an answer on whether or not the Board of Health has approved it yet, but it has been in front of them for a while, so I would expect that coming very soon. And that's pretty much it. It's pretty straightforward. We have some leveling areas, but everything is sloped and really relies on vegetative cover to stop the erosion.
When in the timeline does the stone retaining wall get put in?
That would be one of the first activities.
Okay.
There are boulders all over this site. It's a very rocky site, and they'll be bringing those boulders in and and constructing that first.
Yep. And up at the very top of the horseshoe, it looks like there's a bunch of very light gray circles, or is that a
That's
rock?
riprap.
Yes.
Riprap? Okay. So it's
Yeah,
right next to the 430 line numbers.
Yes.
Okay.
That's part of the infrastructure that's permitted under a different order.
Okay. So that's part of the subdivision.
Yes.
Has the well been perked?
Well, it hasn't been drilled. We can't drill a well until we have all the permits in place.
And it only needs to be 10 feet away from the road?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's something the Board of Health works on.
Right.
Fred, I don't know that you've been involved in, there's recently been an email going around about maybe using silt fence only when necessary. Now, I don't know, how does the rest of the board feel about that, using straw wattles or something that's more biodegradable into the earth versus silt fence that never gets taken down? And unless we got a real steep slope somewhere where it really would help. I mean,
This looks to be about as steep a slope as I'm ever going to see on a plan. It's what, 50 feet down?
Well, it's the house area, that tier of the property, if you want to call it that, is approximately 10 feet below the street grade. And then we have the level area for the septic system, the house, and the backyard. And then it drops down again behind the house, another probably 7 or 8 feet. So it's not, there's a lot of grading shown on the plan. It is going to be quite a slope. However, to your point, Damon, the infrastructure is built, and on the other side of the infrastructure, there's already a line of silt fence that is in place for that infrastructure. So this is very redundant, having silt fence on the upgradient side of the water quality swale. The straw wattle there's not a lot of sloping over on that side. The sloping is really, you can see it's next to the driveway, and behind the driveway is where the steep sloping is.
Yeah, I wasn't saying
again,
this, it had to be used right now. I'm sorry to get off track. I'm just saying it's something that the board probably should talk about in the future. So, a lot of times in the past, we've always been silt fence and hay bales, and I'm just trying to look out for the for the land and for the builder too. I mean, over here making everybody spend, putting silt fence and hay bales is a lot of work, and it's a lot of money. There's a lot of different things that that have come into the picture in the last 2 years that's worked well also. That's all. I'm just kidding. I'm not saying this particular lot.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I have a question. It's probably too late, but it looks to me on the south side, I know it's lot 59, that the slope right next to the driveway going down to the drainage easement, who's going to maintain that? I would think it's the person in question is going to be mowing that whole bank, and what, they're going to put a fence along there? I don't know.
Or you could just let it grow wild, right?
Well, yeah, I don't know.
Well,
Yeah.
we plant, there's some sloping there that would be I don't know if you've ever seen a slope covered with spreading yews, but that type of vegetation could be used there to supplement. But it could grow wild too, as long as it's kept intact and watered well in the beginning.
Well, if it's going to go for the wild look, I would much rather see it planted. You're going to have a much better chance of getting it if you get something in there to start off with that you want, as opposed to just hope the birds plant it. So I don't know if some thought could be thought as to how to plant out that bank, and whether the lot 59 is done differently than the others, or where that change in vegetation is made. Right now, they're all owned by the same owner, right? So now's the time to do it?
Yes. Yes,
Right.
and anything on their lot would be maintained by the future homeowner. But the loom and seed, that's all going to be done. That whole hill is going to be loomed and seeded, certainly, and it's going to have to take hold because they need some time to build the house. There's a lot going on here on this lot, and the grass, the vegetation will be in place prior to any silt. The erosion controls will be in place prior to, for the full duration until that grass is in place.
All right. Well, here's the thing. This is a high-end subdivision, and so rather than thinking of growing grass just as a way of erosion control, let's just raise the bar a little bit and try to think about what vegetation should be planted there that's going to make the best sense and be most effective and the easiest to maintain. So maybe it's a little more expensive seed, or it's planting of junipers, or I don't know. I'd look to you to make a recommendation, but hopefully that.
Yeah, I would go for the drought resistant grasses on a slope like this, and they may choose from an aesthetic standpoint to put some junipers on that slope as well. I don't think somebody's going to want to mow that slope. But it does have to be drought resistant.
That's 3-to-1 slope.
That's what the
3-to-1.
says.
There's a portion of the whole top is 3-to-1, but there's a portion partway down the slope where it goes to 2-to-1, just so we don't have to have another retaining wall for this property.
Yeah, there's a 2-to-1 slope right leading down to the riprap at the south part.
Yes. And this will have to be hands-on as far as getting that grass established, or whatever shrubbery they want to put in there. But there is great protection of the wetland in the form of, when you get beyond this slope, there's a water quality swale. You can see the curved linear shape coming over into a forebay. You have that is protection for the wetlands, and then you have the detention basin itself. So we have the swale, the forebay, and detention basin, and then the water goes into the wetlands. So whatever happens here, if there are deposits that make their way to the bottom of the slope, there'll be ample opportunity to clean that up and get it out of there, out of the drainage easement.
So, Peter, is there something you want to have written up differently in the order of conditions for this lot?
I guess if Fred's okay with it, or the client, that I would recommend that drought-resistant grass and a higher quality seed and maybe planting of perennials to enforce that bank would be a good idea.
You mean like something other than grasses?
Something other than builder's
like,
rye, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yes, yes.
So, but
I mean, you could put a wild. You could put a wildflower seed mix in there, but drought resistant is what that slope really needs.
No, I'm looking for dense, thick growth. I'm not looking for. Now, the owner might think otherwise, so that's why, that I'm not here to tell you aesthetically what to do, but I would want a higher grade level for the planting plan. So what could you recommend? Is there a way of saying that as to what sort of seed, or was my language sufficient? Fred?
Well, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go any further than just making sure we get the drought resistant grasses.
Yeah,
and it's really going to be how well it takes. So it needs watering for sure. So this is going to be an area where there's going to be some man hours put in here to keep that slope in place and until the vegetation is established.
All right, so
would you
something
use
to
some
put
sort
in.
of mulch or something? Would that help it? Or a straw?
Not really. Not if you're trying to get grass growing.
You they have that netting that you put over on steep slopes now too that kind of holds everything in place.
Yeah, or tack a fire or something.
Yeah,
So,
if we have to go to that, certainly we would we'd use whatever means needed.
Correct.
So here's my question.
Yep.
In our order of conditions, what do we want to say should be done differently for the small part of the lot where there's a 2-to-1 slope?
I would say that drought-resistant grasses and maintenance of the slope during the growing season until the vegetation is well established. They're going to have to look at it, watch it, and
Yes.
pay attention to it. They're going to have to put water on it and make sure it grows well.
Yep,
I do want to have some language there saying the Conservation Commission is going to be looking at the 2-to-1 slope and being much fussier about it than we might be for more normal vegetation.
Yes.
You got that, Bill?
Yeah, so I just want to be clear, because I'm trying to get it down. So I got for the 2-to-1, for the area with the 2-to-1 slope, use drought-resistant grasses and maintenance of that slope until the vegetation is taken hold. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah. That sounds.
Yes.
I think that sounds good.
And the unspoken part of it is we're not signing off on the order of conditions until we're happy with the way that very
That would be
deep slope
that would
works.
happen anyway.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We will have to do an inspection before we're going to sign off on it anyway. So if something's not right when we do go up there and they're looking for the certificate, we can, if something looks like it maybe wasn't stabilized and the silt washed in, well, then they're going to have to take care of it before we sign it.
My next question would be, at what point in time during the work would people on the committee want to go out and look at it? Do we want to look and make sure that the stacked boulder retaining wall is set up properly, that the riprap is set up, that the contouring of the 2-to-1 has been done correctly?
Do however you want to do it. If you want to, we usually inspect when the silt fence is put in place.
Okay.
To start a construction. And I mean, if you wanted to do. Go ahead,
but
Fred.
you are certainly welcome to go out and inspect at any time during.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Yeah. And, the last thing to go on here is the loom. So erosion of loom will not take place until after the house is built, after the septic is in. The looming and seeding is the thing that happens right at the end of the project. So it's going to be the slope, in order to be well established, it's really the maintenance and watering and fertilizing of that slope with the proper type of fertilizer.
Do we have an estimate for what months this might work, the loaming might happen?
Well, it all depends on when they sell this. It
Okay.
really does. They got a lot of work to do here. I don't expect this thing to be on the market for, it's not going to be a deliverable before the growing season is over.
Okay.
This will be something that will take place next spring.
Okay.
Yep.
I got a question for you, Fred. This whole lot, this 1/3 to the front, it is all going to get cleared out totally. So tell me, where are you going to put the loom that you're scraping off? It seems to me the only spot that's not getting altered is near where you say building box dimension and the 420. Everything else is going to be worked on. So how are you going to work at that?
Oh, yes. Yeah, it's a subdivision like this is staged throughout the subdivision at different locations. They'll have a staging area for loom production. This will be stripped and stockpiled. They will. There's staging areas for rock preparation for different products that the contractor makes. And they've done a good job throughout this subdivision so far of making sure these staging operations are, they take care of the water. It's, you guys have heard of Gentis Corporation, I'm sure. And they're very good at handling the runoff from a site that is opened up and under construction. And it's been a pleasure working with them because they really do pay attention to what's happening. So this is not something that will take place on this property. It will, on this particular lot, it'll be somewhere else on the site where they have a staging area for loom.
Yeah, they got everything pretty well organized up there. I think out of all these years, you're probably one of the better contractors that have been in there.
They're the best I've seen, I'll tell you.
Yeah, they do a nice job. So
Yeah.
I think I'm not really too concerned. Obviously, we worry about it when heavy rain comes, but I think having them there on that project, that this type of a challenging lot, I would rather see them there than some other people that we've dealt with over the years.
Oh, yeah. No, they've got methods all over the place. Wherever they're working, they stay ahead of the water. It's not that nothing ever happens or they don't have a situation they have to respond to, but they think ahead. They stay a few steps ahead of heavy rain whenever they open up an area. Very impressed with the attention they apply to their work site.
Is this the one that Shang does the construction supervision, or that's all history now?
No, DeSheng is still on this job, yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, he makes his inspections and reports on a regular basis.
Haven't seen an email from him lately.
Well, listen, guys, we're working on this particular, we'll get a hearing for this
Yep.
lot. And it's now 7:53, and we missed the 7:45 public hearing. So is there any other questions on this one?
I'll make a motion to approve, I guess.
Carl Hummel seconds.
And this is, you'll get this all done when we get a DEP number, obviously,
Right.
contingent on
Right.
the DEP number. Is there all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. Western Circle Ave, is that you too, Fred?
Thank you.
No, that's,
No, I'm not on that one.
All right, thank you.
so if I can say, I can see Mr. Carpenter, who's a resident, is with us, but Mr. Carpenter, we have to go to a public hearing that's scheduled for 7:45, so if you can bear with us, please.
Okay.
And thank you. And Margaret, is this one yours? You're muted, Margaret. Margaret Bacon's on the line, but I'm not from Civil Site Engineering.
Oh, what's it? Oh, is this that piece that's been up, that's all the way at the end of Western Circle Ave?
I believe so.
Yes, I've got
Okay.
it up on the screen now.
Okay, now you're unmuted now, Margaret. Go ahead.
Okay, good evening. For the record, Margaret Bacon. I'm an engineer with Civil Site Engineering, and I'm here representing my client for a septic repair for 1 Western Circle. It's the last house on the end of that street. It's a dead-end street. Is everybody familiar with that location?
Yeah.
We have the plan on the screen, Margaret.
Okay, so basically it's an existing 1-bedroom house with a failed system. The existing system's on the right side of that house, but due to wells, I had to put the system on the other side in order to fit it
Your
into.
audio's cutting in and out.
Okay, can you hear me okay now?
No,
You can't?
you got you now.
All right, I won't move.
All right,
Does that sound okay?
stay still.
Okay, so basically, in order to try to, get a system in there that would meet Title V, I've got wells and wet high groundwater. So I've designed a Presby system. I'm asking for a couple of waivers in order to fit a system in there. And it will be a pump system due to the high groundwater. As you can see, I'm just 50 feet away from the wetlands and I'm 50 feet away from our own well. But I did stay 100 feet away from the neighbor's well. So I have a lot of constraints I have to deal with for this system. Everybody hear that okay?
Yes. Has
Okay.
the Board of Health signed off on the 50-foot between the well and the septic?
No, I haven't heard back officially from the Board of Health yet.
Okay. My feeling is if the Board of Health signs off on it, then we would as well.
Okay. I believe this went out to their consultant.
Yep. Peter, do you have any feelings about cutting it close to the 50-foot line?
No, the septic, it's, there's a stone wall there, or there's a shed in between it. They got to have it, so it's not a bad location. A 1-bedroom house. You don't get smaller than that.
Well, yeah, it's an existing 1-bedroom, but I had to design for a 2-bedroom system. That's the minimum you have to design for.
Okay, and so with a 2-bedroom system, there's nothing to stop them from selling it and changing the 1-bedroom into a 2-bedroom. Is that right? Or that's not our business, I guess.
Well, actually, it's a 1-bedroom house, and it should stay a 1-bedroom house. I can't say I'm not allowed, but the minimum design criteria is 2-bedroom. But it says right on the plan, this is for an existing 1-bedroom, and I'm designing, even though I'm designing for 2, it's for a 1-bedroom house.
Yep, not a problem.
I don't have any further questions.
Any other questions?
No.
Motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the proposed repair for Western Circle.
Second, Carl Hummel seconds.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
That was pleasantly short.
Okay, Bill, what did you have? Somebody online on the line that had a question about something?
John
Yeah.
Carpenter.
John Carpenter's online, and he has questions about tree removal on Taft Avenue. I'll let him explain. Go ahead, sir.
Oh, hi. Yeah, we live on 25 Taft Avenue, and we have been here about 8 to 10 years. And there are some trees that are between the houses and also a willow tree on the lake itself. And we're just wanting to have somebody come in and prune them and trim them and make sure they're not going to come down on either houses or people. And the way I read the regs, I think it's okay to do that, but I wanted to make sure.
Okay, I thought you were looking to remove trees, but you're not looking to remove trees, you're just looking to trim them.
Just trimming them. I don't want to move them.
All right.
Which house is yours now?
Right next to former Chief Larson's house.
Oh, okay, so Bouchard's old house?
Right.
Okay.
Not a problem with trimming. Thank you for coming in and showing your concern.
Yeah, you get, as long as you're not doing any, you can do any pruning, you can't, there's no digging of the shoreline, no stumping, but you can definitely maintain so you have a safe environment around your property.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
Thank you very much.
Sorry about that. I thought that was a little bit more involved. The original question seemed to be quite a bit more involved. Okay, great.
All right, so this is from Hopedale Conservation Commission regarding 116 Hartford Ave.
Yeah, do you remember that situation there? I think you were in touch with them afterwards, Damon. Just to basically say that we're glad to hear about it and keep us apprised as to any activity there.
Oh, yes, I emailed Vanessa, the conservation lady. Yes, I did get in contact with her. Consultation with the resident for 85 Providence. I contacted him and answered any questions he had. He's all set. He was just concerned about what he could do, same thing as Taft Ave, what trees he could cut and what trees he couldn't. He was just basically doing trimming too, so he just wanted to make sure that he was okay. All the other jurisdiction stuff, we went over all that already. Anybody want to accept the meeting minutes from May 14th?
I so move. Carl Hummel.
Does anybody else have any other questions?
No.
All right, Bill, we good?
Was that a second from Peter?
A second on the minutes, yes.
Yep. Okay.
All right. Motion to adjourn?
So
Second
moved.
by Emilio.
All right, guys, I guess we're good to go.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, I'm going to put together those orders, and once again, I'm going to have them available, I'll let you know, but have them available at my desk for signatures.
Yeah,
And
let me know when you're ready, and I'll go sign
will.
them and lay them out.
Yep, perfect. And Ellen, town clerk, has been really gracious about helping get those distributed to applicants and accepting checks to get over to the collector's office. So we're doing okay in terms of logistics,
Great.
not being physically present in town hall.
So I never signed anything. So you had a quorum, or how many signatures did you need?
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, as long as you have a quorum of signatures and a quorum at the meeting, you're all set. They don't have to be exact same signatures.
Okay.
Yeah, there were 4 signatures.
But yeah, as long as there's at least 4 signatures on there. But yeah, Peter, if you can go down to town hall after I fire off an email letting you know they're ready to go, that'd be great.
But at Concom office.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep the papers, on my desk.
Okay.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
See you later, guys.
All right, guys, thanks. Have a good night.
Thanks, John.
Have a good night.
Thanks for your help there, Carl.
Yep, I will send you, call you next Tuesday afternoon or send an email about a more formal engagement letter with the people in Upton.
Oh, just so you know, I will most likely be completely away from internet access, but we can talk.
Okay. When are you going to
Back.
be away?
All of this coming week, but I can jump on it as soon as I get back. So
Okay.
great.
Well, since they're
Okay.
willing to do it for free, we can tidy up the paperwork on the Conservation Commission letterhead afterwards.
Right. Yeah. Right. And it's perfect that this guy is coming at us from Upton because we might be able to get quite a bit out of him.
Um,
I mean, that
I
would be
bel
good business for him to compete with Solitude on Lake Nipmuc.
Yes, I spoke with one of the two owners, co-owners. It looks like two couples,
Okay.
and he said that he went to Nipmuc High School, so he's familiar with the area,
Okay.
and that yeah, they're local.
Is this a new startup?
I don't know how new it is. He did say that the two of them used to work for Solitude and decided to go into business for themselves,
Wow. Very
which
good.
is so. I see nothing wrong in entertaining offers to work from this new place, and then having them start out small on this pond is a great way for them to demonstrate their reliability, and then we ask them to engage in a request for quotes on the next late Nipmuc round of treatments.
Right. Well, it would only be proper to put that business out to bid periodically anyway.
Well, now that we have an alternative, I mean, Lake Solitude owns the entire eastern seaboard.
Right. Exactly. Okay. Very
All right.
good. Thank you, Carl. Take care.
Talk to you next week.
All
Bye.
right. Good night.